It's not that you're never going to be life insurable again. It may just be not right now.
Often that will stall an application because their insurance company isn't going to make a decision until.
In this scenario, we're going to be dealing with a 45-year-old male who's a non-smoker, but is type 2 diabetic.
With that note be in mind, a lot of
Yeah,
that's because of the types of conversations and disclosures that a person who's looking to apply for insurance has with their advisor. So
totally.
the more that you're able to disclose to your advisor, the quicker they can help assess that rather than wasting time and getting, you can often ask for a preliminary assessment before you submit an application to a degree. And another thing to note that you identified, Jay, I think is really important is that you may not know about a certain medical condition or something that you have, but you might be undergoing some testing. So if you're waiting on test or test results from an ultrasound or an MRI or something of that nature, often that will stall an application because their insurance company isn't going to make a decision until they see what did those results provide.
Can I still get whole life insurance if I'm rated or if I have a medical condition? The answer is we. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, we?
See, the answer is yes. Now let's presume that you're otherwise life insurable. Okay, but you have a medical condition. I'll give you a recent example: diabetes, type 2 diabetic. I don't think I'm life insurable. Why don't you think you're life insurable? I'm type 2 diabetic. I'm not an underwriter. And the person who lets us know whether or not you're in fact life insurable is an underwriter. So why don't we get in touch with the underwriter? How do we do that? We apply for a policy. Oddly enough, they won't take your calls otherwise.
Yeah, they got no sense of humor at all. Those guys don't want to talk to you unless there's an insurance contract coming in, a policy application coming in.
And what's important to understand, so the word rated, right? If rated, what does that even mean? Well, let's do this. Rich, do you have your Illustrator handy?
I do. Yeah, let me clear up a free page here for.
If we were to, so let's just pull up just a policy illustrator, and then we can illustrate our teaching point. Now, in this scenario, we're going to be dealing with a 45-year-old male who's a non-smoker, but is type 2 diabetic.
Okay.
And we're going to contrast that with a male who's 45 years old, non-smoker, who's otherwise, from a medical standpoint, standard. Okay.
Okay.
And so we'll run those two and see what we come up with. Now, we want to have a starting death benefit of $500,000 inside of we'll run, wealth accumulator, and we'll maximize the accelerated deposit option. And let's see what we come up with. And for folks who are tuning into the YouTube video who are in the industry, who are life licensed, this will actually be very beneficial for you if this is something that you haven't seen in the past or haven't addressed in the past in terms of having the conversation, the crucial conversation. And what we need to do is go through the underwriting process by submitting an application. And that application includes medical underwriting. So the underwriter at the insurance company takes a look at your medical history, your family medical history. Being that you're type 2 diabetic, that is going to automatically trigger what's called a attending physician's statement. So there's a document that insurance company will request be completed by your attending physician, your family doctor, whomever provides you with primary medical care. And then the underwriter will make a determination as to whether or not, based on all of the medical evidence gathered, that whether or not they're going to offer you the opportunity to purchase the insurance contract. Now, if you're otherwise healthy and no medical conditions, every contract is issued rated, and the rating begins at standard. That's the best. If you were to think of how do I get the best rating? Well, the best rating on a dividend paying participating whole life insurance contract in Canada is a standard rating. Okay. From that point, we start to see percentage increments on the rating table. And those percentage increments go from anything above standard all the way to 600%. If you get to a 600% rating, you're 1 percentage point away from never being life insurable again. If you're somewhere between 600% and standard, you are life insurable and you should purchase some insurance. Get
It,
your hands on it.
and important to know if you're at a rating level, the reason to get the insurance went up, not down. If the
Thank you. The
if
sense of urgency.
Right. If the insurance company who've been doing this for a really long time, they took a look at all the factors and they said, "Boy, oh boy, hey Richard, we're gonna have to give you a rating, a substandard rating that isn't standard, it's substandard, and we're gonna rate you at 225%. You should be jumping all over that because they know something you don't know.
That's
And
right.
they think that your best before date has gone up, meaning your time horizon remaining on planet Earth might not be as long as you had thought before you submitted that application."
Precisely. Precisely correct. And so let's pop up an illustration. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring that up here. And another thing we should be answering while we do this too, Jay, is just describing like what kind of a health check is done as part of this
Oh,
process,
yeah, yeah.
and then how do existing health condition affect the eligibility. So I think we're kind of talking about that right now, but also just indicating like what kind of health check is done. So I'm gonna
Oh,
bring
for
up
sure.
the example that I've got here, and I chose the 45, but I did a rated version and I did a standard version. So here's the
Yeah.
standard version first.
So eh, while we're diving into this, so to address what you just shared, Richard, so the medical underwriting process, the health questionnaire is going to literally cover every zone of the human body. So they're looking for neurological function. They're looking at, cardiovascular, looking at kidney function, liver function, all of those elements put together to determine your medical suitability for being approved for a life insurance contract. And if you think of conditions like cardiovascular disease, cancer, some of the more common instances, it's not that a person would not be life insurable again. It just means just not right now. Hey, I just got, diagnosed with this condition, some form of cancer, or, I just suffered a heart attack. It's not that you're never going to be life insurable again. It may just be not right now. The application wouldn't even go into the insurance company if that was the case. The life license agent that's working with you would identify, okay, now's not the right time to submit it, but there may be another person that you have an insurable interest in that you might want to insure. So if you think about just the structure of this, you've got the policy owner, the life insured, the life insurance company. The policy owner and the life insured do not need to be the same people. However, that being said, a decline is rare. And a decline is rare not because it's rare on the part of the life insurance company. It's rare because the the well-known declines are caught in advance before the contract application is even submitted to the insurance company. And but from the insurance carrier itself, a decline is rare. So let's
And with that note be in mind, a lot of
yeah,
that's because of the types of conversations and disclosures that a person who's looking to apply for insurance has with their advisor. So
totally.
the more that you're able to disclose to your advisor, the quicker they can help assess that rather than wasting time and getting, you can often ask for like a preliminary assessment before you submit an application to a degree. And another thing to note that you identified, Jay, I think is really important is that you may not know about a certain medical condition or something that you have, but you might be undergoing some testing. So if you're waiting on test results from an ultrasound or an MRI or something of that nature, often that will stall an application because their insurance company isn't going to make a decision until they see what did those results provide and was there any recommendations
Yep.
by your medical professional because of that result.